So the sea serpent, or the Saltchuck Uluk, um, is a tale that, instead of being the long ago, has got its center at when white men came in numbers to the coast in search of gold. And indeed, there was worries, like, the young men of the tribe were kind of employed as guides to take all these, you know eager miners and gold miners up the coast, because they're so into the gold, and they came back with like tales of kind of greed and lust and violence and stuff like that. And there was a worry that it was going to affect them, but for the most part it didn't, except for one guy who it did affect. And he came back with a whole bunch of gold, chikamun chikamin money, and he became avaristic. He was not sharing all his stuff. Very much, uh, Pauline Johnson at the beginning of this says, like, that's the thing that Native people do not the vice that they do not have, that they do not keep their goods, their possessions, greedily to themselves, to the detriment of their fellow man. They actually do share it out. And indeed, the elders are like, kind of finally have enough with this guy, and they say, like, look, you need to do a potlatch and share out your wealth amongst the poor and the elderly and stuff like that. And he just jeers at them and laughs, at which point the deity, the Sagali Tai, comes up and says, I'm cursing you, turns him into a mile-long serpent with two heads, one because it bites twice, one that bites the poor and the old, and another one that bites his own heart. And that the only one who will be able to vanquish him is someone who is of purity and generosity and stuff like that. And indeed, a young warrior comes forward and says, like, I'm want to do it. And this guy is somebody who does share all his wealth, that helps the poor, is a good community member. And he's gonna have to be clean. So he says, like, I'm gonna swim in the waters of the strait for 4 days. But instead of 4 days, it's like 4 years, and he's searching for the center of the serpent, because that's where the heart is, and that's the part where you'll be able to stab him and kill him and vanquish this evil. And he finally does, after 4 years, locate this as he's swimming. And there's this image of each day him getting up on the point and just kind of holding out his arms and drying himself in the sunshine. And he finally does do it. And he's asked his mother to always put down fresh furs each night on his bed, so it's a clean place too. There's very much emphasis on cleanliness here, but there's a kind of a purity, a clean. Obviously, it means something other than just like not being dirty and stinky. It means clean, a kind of a ritualized clean. And his mother has, for that 4 years, done that, so that he's able to come back. And he tells his mother, the only reason I was able to come back is because you kept a clean place for me at home. And she says, of course, you're my son. And that you know she looked at him as only mothers look. Each day these 4 years, fresh furs have I laid for your bed. Sleep now and rest, oh my tenas tai, which is little chief, she said. um and the white people would call this an allegory, she said. And it's like, and he doesn't understand, but he explains it to her and says, yeah, no, that is correct. That is correct. That's what we say it means. We Squamish, that greed is evil and not clean, like the Sat Saltchuck Uluk. It must be stamped out amongst our people, killed by cleanliness and generosity. That the boy overcame the serpent was because it was both these things. And there's definitely a thing here of the negative influence that the whites have had on the Squamish thing. There's definitely an ideological thing of here of a ritual cleaning of the influence of whites into their society, which you can see why that is there. Um, so yeah, it's a ritual cleanness. I mean, there's slightly kind of a thing here of, I don't know, being morally pure, that you might rankle at, but you can see why this is being put forward as an opposition to the pernicious influence of white culture, and avarice being the major thing and, you know, stomping out the potlatch yet again. Again, we've had a prescription for a potlatch being the cure, but the villain in the piece rejecting it, and then getting cursed for it, and then having a hero who is into all this kind of ritualized cleaning, and that being the positive, the values that are being put forward as a thing. And you know that just swimming in itself is it's a ritual. It's indicating something much wider than just swimming in the water and getting clean. So yeah, that is the Sea Serpent. Next, the Lost Island. The Lost Island. More videos later.